Well, I was born in a town known as Oyster Bay, Long Island, but I was not the guy with the six gun in his hand. But I have met Billy Joel several times. I am a product of Catholic schools, yay, and I'm first generation American. My father came here in 1947 from Ireland. He was about 28 years old, and he was the only one that came here from his family. So till the day he died, he had his brogue. He died at 87, and married my mom, who was a dyed-in-the-wool New Yorker, and so that's how we got out to Long Island and raised the family. Well, after college, I went into the hotel business, and I worked for Sheraton Hotels for 10 or 11 years. And I started in Manhattan, and then they moved me to LA. And I was in the early 80s in LA, and then I came, I wanted to come back east because my parents were getting older. I said, but I don't want New York. I said, I'll take Boston, Philly, or DC. And I wound up in DC. So, and that's how I found my way to the Eastern Shore. So I moved here in 1989 to become the marketing director for the Tidewater Inn. That began my journey here on the shore, which has been wonderful. I now have lived here longer than I've lived anywhere else in my life. I served on the Easton Town Council. I was first elected in 2003, which, believe it or not, was 20 years ago this year. Kind of crazy, right? So it was John Ford who encouraged me to run. He and Mayor Murphy, actually, George Murphy, because John was going for the presidency of the council at the time, and he said, you know what, Maureen, you should really just run for my seat. And I went, really? Because I had been the Easton's Main Street manager prior to that in the 90s. And so Mayor Murphy always said, you belong on the town council. You know, he just didn't want to hear it. Someday you'll be mayor. I said, okay. Yeah, so I ran, and I won by 2 votes. Well, it was a special election. It was held in August, and it was just Ward 1, and it was me and my opponent, Dan Brazington, who is a great guy. I think I got 112 votes, and he got 110. You know, that goes to show you how low the turnout was. Oh. But Ward 1 is significantly larger now than it was 20 years ago. Yeah. I think the first one that comes to mind is getting rid of those parking meters downtown. And I was very happy about that. It took a long haul, and we had a little negotiation to do. Scott Jensen and myself teamed up and said, you know, this is silly. We're turning people away, trying to find nickels and dimes and quarters to park, and we want them to come here and shop and dine. And so it took us a couple of years, but we did it. What I brought to the table with my knowledge of Easton Main Street and Maryland Main Street and National Main Street, I kept that going as far as making downtown viable once again. And of course, my time at the Tidewater, back in those days, early days of the Tidewater, was struggling big time. So I think I brought that sort of to the council as well, letting them know how important the Tidewater is to Easton, how important the Avalon is to Easton, how important downtown as a whole is to Easton. Well, so. I did 2 terms on the Easton Town Council, and then Mayor Willie hired me to be the Economic Development Director. And I did that and actually retired early in 2015, which was really nice. And so then I got bored. So part of the reason, and I ran for county council in 2018 and was not successful. So I've been dabbling here and there. And when this opportunity came up, I said, you know what, I want back in. Well, I think my priority is just to make sure that what we have is stable. I'm very excited about certain redevelopment projects that we have going, and some development projects. I mean, I think Easton Point is very, very exciting. We just need to keep our eye on the ball and make sure that everybody's included and that there's going to be access from the downtown region to, Easton Point. I'm totally thrilled about the Hill project and that the redevelopment possibilities there. And the Aurora Street corridor too is another really exciting redevelopment area. And that's actually in Ward 1, so that near and dear to my heart, as you will. So, but I think the most important thing for me is making sure that everybody feels safe, everybody feels accepted, and everybody has a place to go. Not just, if you want to go out to dinner, you want to be able to take your family. I want to see more places that are family friendly in the downtown area. I mean, I think it's great that we're becoming a destination because that's what I have hoped for 33 years. It's very exciting to see us, holding our own on the map, and we're not just, oh yeah, you go through there to get to St. Michael's. Easton is a destination in unto itself, and that's exciting to me. I think the Tidewater Inn has been a blessing. I remember when they were going to lock the doors. I was the general manager when they were going to lock the doors. And, the bank said, we're done. And, a guy by the name of Josh Freeman stepped up and bought us on the courthouse steps. And that was the beginning of the revitalization of the Tidewater Inn, and I think really helped the downtown tremendously. And you look at it today, Josh's company wound up selling the hotel after he was killed tragically in a helicopter crash, but enter John Wilson, our savior. And unfortunately, we lost him too, but he has left his legacy behind in the Tidewater Inn, and we are a better community for it. And just, look at the Avalon today. I mean, it's gorgeous as we sit here, right, Nick? No, we've come such a long way. When I first got here 30 years ago, 33 years ago, whatever it was, I was working in Easton. I wasn't living in Easton just yet. It took me a few years to get here, but it was a sleepy little town. Well, growth has to be managed, otherwise you're going to be in big trouble, because you can't let the developers rule the day, because it's not their town, it's our town. I've worked with the developers over the years in my economic development career, my tourism career, and I have a great deal of respect for what they do, but we have to right the ship when it comes to our relationship with developers in this town. We're holding the cards. They've got something. We've got something that they want, right? So play by our rules. And I don't mean to say it's hardball, but one thing that sticks in my craw is the lack of affordable housing. And every time somebody comes in and says, oh yeah, I'm going to put up these, $500,000 to $3 million homes, and I'll write you a check for that affordable housing, and you guys can go put it wherever you want. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. So that's one of the things I'm going to be focusing on when I get elected. I hate to say it, but it's my old age and my experience. But seriously, who else running for Ward 1, has the breadth and depth of experience that I have? I have worked in every facet of this town, from being a tourism director for the county with the Chamber of Commerce to the communications director for our wholly owned Easton Utilities for 5 years. As I said, I was our Main Street manager, I was our economic development director, and I served 2 terms on the Easton Town Council in the seat that I'm running for. You can't beat that as far as knowledge and experience go. Well, I think one of the things I'm really proud about is two things that happened while I was economic development director. Um, we celebrated Easton's 200th anniversary in 2010, and I, along with a myriad of fabulous volunteers, pulled off an entire year's worth of events celebrating Easton. And I think my favorite one was when we shut down Harrison Street and did a spaghetti dinner for like 2,000 people. And we took over the kitchen at the Tidewater Inn, and the old Bannings, lent us their kitchen, and we were slopping spaghetti out up and down Harrison Street, and we gave, it was all free. We gave tickets out so that people could come with their families and sit and enjoy, and it was a blast. Other than that little pour down of rain that happened, and we all got soaked, but it was good. And then we did a fabulous parade. We did a magazine that got statewide recognition, and it was a special time for us here in Easton. And I think the other thing that I am so proud to have been a part of is the Frederick Douglass Honor Society, and getting that statue on the courthouse lawn where he belongs. So, and I love to see the momentum that all of that, from the tourism perspective, it's having seen what Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass are doing for the Midshore, it's so exciting. And then the Hill after that came after that. So it's it's all starting, and it's really I'm so proud to have been a part of it.